Howdys and salutations, y'all! Oops, I got that music just a hair loud, don't we? And now y'all can see my desktop. Oh, what a joy. And it's not really that interesting, is it? Ah, well, welcome back to the last day of ArtFight. Hard to believe. But we're still going to keep going at it. I should mention I've done at least one attack off stream. It's not the one I'm the most happy with, truth be told. Here, we'll just pop in. Like, it was a fun character. I'm not super thrilled how it turned out, because I was doing it at like 4 in the morning and exhausted, although I kind of like this like soft background thing going on. Don't hate that. I wish I'd had time to do proper shading and stuff. I may go back later and send them one that's like fully shaded. But I'm happy with how the pants turned out. Good fluff. Very fun. This is Marion by Dex's Laboratory, for the record. I'd say laboratory, but this is spelled in the way that I would pronounce it laboratory, so that's what we'll do there. And in the name of biting off more than we can chew, we are going to attempt one more ArtFight attack. I realize that this means we have to finish one in one stream, and we have literally never finished one in one stream. Ever. So this is a bad idea, but we're gonna do it anyway. Also, I should mention I've been sleepy and headachy all day, so this really is going to be a sprint to the finish kind of deal. So this one, I'll even throw the command in chat. I've updated the target command, which, for the record, is why I was late, was I almost forgot to do that. This one's for StarJuiceArt, who I caught one of their streams a while back when I was perusing the other ArtFight folks, and they were super fun and nice, so I wanted to do one for them. So, let me see if I can remember how to... Oh, oh, there it is. There we go. Gotta remove the picker. Because we're doing like a bust or a head view, basically. I'm not going to attempt to do a full body with the time that we have. It's not going to happen. Let's see. So first off, again, in fact, we're going to do just entirely different style. We're not doing the same thing. I've been going for like a certain style with my ArtFight attacks, which is essentially a sped up version of what I did for the character sheets, which has been very fun, but probably won't work with the time we have. So, oh, cheapers, value 100 right out the gate. Okay, so super bright skin tones. This time we're doing a different one. This one's going to be a little looser. This is what I'm going to do, or what I usually do when I was doing my like daily digital art practice, which I used to do at work during lunch breaks, but I fell out of the habit in the last week. Need to get back to doing that, because it was actually, like, look, the results were always terrible. 15-minute sketches weren't the best. The proportions were off, all that. But they were a little better, and at the very least, I figured out a lot of interesting techniques for drawing. So we're not going to actually go for a 15-minute sketch like that. But we are going to attempt a sort of quick version of what I do for that. Or opposite of that, actually, a less quick version. So this one I do a lot more like shape blocking rather than thinking with like lines and edges, because line quality is not something I want to have to worry about. This has its own problems, especially for bigger pieces that need to turn out really nice, or that I'd like to turn out really nice anyway. Because proportions are more likely to get messed up on this, but for quick little things or for like a bust or headshot like this, it's pretty good. Problem that we're going to encounter, these ears are wonderful, but they do not fit on this canvas. So we have a couple of options there. We could just do a zoom in and then just have the ears be going, which would probably be the smart choice. We could do a wider canvas, which is actually an option, although even then it'd be hard to get the full ears. They're grand. Or we could attempt to shrink this whole deal and have the focus end up more on the ears, which could be a thing we do. We could also, like, you know, artistic license the ears a little bit, but I like the ears, and I don't want to undersell them. Fascinating design. This is part of their series of deities, for the record. This is, I don't know if it's Gin or Jin. GIF or GIF. We'll, assuming one or the other will start a fight. But, I don't know, they're a fun one. I like this character design a lot. I like elven characters. I mean, that's what I've always, not always, but that's what I started doing with D&D back when I was a kid, and it was just like, you know, silly, like just pick your favorite stuff rather than pick stuff that'll work with the team or whatever. we'll have to keep working on the ears. But like, I don't know. It just I've always thought they were fun characters. And then the hair's even lighter. Okay, I can't. I'm gonna have to. We'll do the lighting and coloring later, just for the sake of like relative shades. I need contrast when I'm drawing this way. I don't want to mess with their hairstyle too much. And this one, again, like, we're short on time. I'm not going to go in for, like, a full, like, new pose and everything as much as I'd really love to. We're attempting to just do a fun headshot and an interesting style, basically. That's the entire goal with this. I won't copy the hair one-to-one, but, I mean, also, it's like they've got a cool dynamic hairstyle going. It's hard to not want to copy that one-to-one to an extent. Whoops. So I'm just sort of like throwing it down first, or throwing stuff down onto the canvas, and then we'll tweak and adjust and build off of it. But this is, I've found, a really fun way to get like quick results that are interesting at least, and sometimes good. Hopefully this time, because again, I'm so sad that this one ended up being like this late in the event. I just ran out of time. The missing the week in the middle really did sort of tank my schedule a little bit, and then having job also just always does. Doesn't mean I can't do it though. There's plenty of people who have jobs and go crazy on ArtFight too. So like, I just got to work on that time management and keep on refining it even more. I mean, I guess they are both like astral deities to an extent, but this one seems to be, based on the description, a heck of a lot more chill than the Orphan of Kos. They're an interesting one. But how are you doing? I'm like trying to sprint to the end on ArtFight stuff. Good. Glad you're good. And then we're gonna have like no contrast behind this. That's fine. I gotta like put more logic into my hair squigglies. There we go. That's better. And then we can just blob the whole thing. I'll add details again later. Ooh. When I control click while I'm coloring stuff in, sometimes it gets a little wonky. But yeah, I'm just trying to keep going, honestly, at this point. Yeah, I know. Been crazy busy over there. And then I don't know if you saw in the Discord, Galactic Tragedy, who's been one that I found through ArtFight, who's been super fun, chatting with and doing ArtFight things, posted they've done 30 so far, and they're working on their 31st for the last day. Like, I can't even imagine. Yeah, like, I can't keep that kind of pace up. Not at all right now. Okay. We'll keep working on this. Yeah, like, there's some people who are just, like, absolute art powerhouses. And I just look on in awe. Let's see, so this character's also got kind of a swamp vibe, swamp thing going on. Reading through the description and stuff. Let's see, sort of. And here, do something like this, maybe. Still a fairly deep cut. That's fine. Maybe I should use this technique for headshots more. I've tested it on another one earlier today. If I can get it in time, we'd actually have 2 more ArtFight pieces, but I make no promises. Honestly, like, that kind of character can actually be quite popular if you give them personality. I was telling people, I saw a hex bug on there earlier. Like, Yeah, the design and like the stinking worm on a strings are actually very popular. So like simple little designs that are funny, very much in vogue right now. Let's see. We can go one darker to regain a little bit of that face shape because we don't want to lose the silhouette on that. Yeah, something like that mayhaps. I don't know how to draw pecs. Okay, we can. I always thinking lose my face silhouette shape so quickly. That's one thing that I want to specifically practice. I think I've realized my weakness in faces is not what I thought it was. Or at least it's not only what I thought it was. I suspect there's more than one thing going on. But the challenge when drawing faces for me is the actual like shape of the head overall. Like the face elements themselves, I don't know, when you're doing cartoony styles, there's a fair bit of flex and you can play around with them. But like my face shapes, they're not simple enough to look believably like caricature-y, but they're not correct or good enough to look like, I don't know, what I actually want them to. And so they end up looking in this awkward middle zone, and I waste so much time messing with those. It's one of these days I'll figure it out. What value are we looking at here? 44. Okay, that's getting darker. That's 34, so we can go up 1, which is probably going to end up being... Okay, yeah, that works. So we'll get some foliage. I'm just blasting it in. There's so many different circle methods, mate. Like, I've tried the Loomis heads, I've tried the stuff Proco does, I've tried a few other online ones that I've found. I've been using... One I've had some luck with is, like, using a circle in a mask shape. But, like, I do that, and then, like, I'll mess around with it and tweak it enough and construct it until it looks decent. And then I add the face features and it looks garbage. And I'm just like, why? That's part of why I think there's more than one issue going on with it, honestly. But with my style, anyway, in terms of faces. But it's just... Ay. So much to still work on. I'm curious, actually, which circle method are you talking about? Oh yeah, I mean, yes. That is a fair reason to do it. Let's see. Trying to get the pattern of this just the same, roughly. Even just in like a quick sketchy style. Yeah, I'm curious which one you were using. Because there's so many different ways to think about it and to try to do perspective. There's not like one that's right and others that are wrong, but I've just, for whatever reason, it's one of those things where like I've tried so many different methods, including just like studying faces and trying to figure out my own methods. And I'm just like, there must be a better way. Let's see. At least this shirt's not quite as deeply cut, but I think we can sort of fudge a little bit to try to maintain the general feel. I feel like the hairline on this might not be low enough anymore, and it might not be fully covering the eye, so we may have to tweak that. Let's see. Okay, we'll deal with facial features in a bit, but actually I'd like to kind of continue what I was doing. Whatever we were doing with lining the hair, I was actually kind of liking how that was looking. And that'd be a 1-to-1, just like kind of a casual. Oh no, rats, I accidentally deleted the undo buffer. Oh well. We'll have some fun with the face silhouette. Okay, I think that's different from the one I've seen. Interesting. Also, you say temporalis like I have any clue where that is. I'm not going to pretend that my understanding of facial anatomy is good. Another thing to work on. Oh, okay. Always heard that called the temple. It's interesting to know the actual name for it. Cool. Part that gets a headache when you wear a hairband for too long. Good to know. That makes sense. That's an interesting way to structure the head. That's a different landmark from, I think, any of the ones I've seen. That's kind of cool. You have to try that one. Let's see. Okay, that part's done in grass, so we won't worry about it on this color, on this section, rather. Let's see. This is going to be a much different... Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. This is going to be so different from what I usually do. Like, I usually aim for so much, like, precision and technique and trying to learn and practice. Going, like, with a much more loose-flowing freeform thing is, like, going to be a weird challenge for me in its own right. It always is, but it's really fun. It's definitely, like, a more relaxing way to do art and something I should do more often. Okay, hold on. Oops, nope, we just want to have that one chill out a little bit. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna want to add like a little more flair to these longer bits too. Just a few stray hairs, you know. Okay, now this one. It'll be hard because I don't want to lose these interesting void spots. Man, I could have done a ton of ArtFight characters if I just did them like this and didn't actually put a face on it. I feel like that might... Actually, this kind of style is interesting in its own right, kind of like as an icon. But I don't think it's necessarily what people would want to go for. Still, I have to do my characters like this at some point. It's just kind of fun. Whoops. There we go. I always come back to these, I don't know what to call it. It's like, not like commercial minimalist, but kind of minimalist styles with like not too much detailing. I like a lot of lineless styles too, or like low line styles. They're fun and they look so clean, and like they look clean and effortless while being neither of those. Well, honestly, usually neither of those things. They're not overly clean and like hyper organized. They just look good and well put together. And I'm not saying this is achieving that look yet, but it's like closer than I've done in a while. Let's see. We don't want a bad tangent there. Okay, that'll do. I'm going to just clear out a little bit of the behind on this one. We'll get back into our color and have a go. Don't want to get overly liney or detailed in some sections and then not match it in others, so I'm going to have to be careful about adding these like stray strands. And I don't want it to be overly symmetrical either. Whoops, that was the wrong tool. Okay. We can add a few more of them. And there's already like that big one there. I don't want to mess with that too much. There we go. Yeah, we're starting to get the feel for that a little bit. Oh yeah, the Loomis method. Okay, yeah, no, that's one of the ones I've studied before. It's a good one. It's reliable. I just, like, I construct a head with that, but I'm not good at making it match the proportions of an actual reference, which is part of my problem. Like, I can construct an objective head with that, but then, like, I'm like, okay, now I want to finish drawing, like, I don't know, Stinking Captain Sparkles or Markiplier or something, and I, like, apply it to that head template, and it doesn't match, because humans aren't actually all perfectly proportioned like that. And so, like, figuring out how to adapt it to what you're actually trying to draw is a real pain with that one. Like, it definitely can do it. It's a professional one. It goes way back. I actually, when I was studying that, I bought one of his books, The Figure Drawing for All It's Worth, is by Andrew Loomis. And it's been helpful for some things, but also there are easier to use tutorials that have been written since the 1950s. So Proko's pretty good. Proko's YouTube videos, really, really impressive. I don't always agree with his emphasis on certain, like, things, but generally speaking, I mean, he's obviously an expert. Take his advice over mine. But also, like, I don't know, he's still a good guide. Let's see. Right. This is one detail that I want to clean up on this layer. There will be one other. Actually, I can do them both with this gray brush. I think it's time to clean up these stray lines from the fill tool. Not necessarily all of them, but most of them. I've really come around to this brush. But yeah, as far as like head shaping methods, I'm so torn. Yeah, your art is so good with the detail. Like I'm always amazed at the patience you have, like, putting together those complex steampunk designs. Like, at some point I'm just like, I'm done. Okay, let's see. Right, not a vector line. This one I'll tilt up just a tiny bit more, and then we can go in and cover up everything that we don't need from it. Okay, and then let's look again at this reference. There's like, it's again, like, you mean Proko? Proko. It's yeah, a ton of great guides. Ton of very professional, like, they're one of those groups that also does like an art serve, like, web training service thing. So like if you want to go on their website and buy their full courses, they do that too. But even their YouTube videos are quite good. Okay, I want to clean up a little bit of the fills here. Again, I'm not too worried about getting these exact. The kind of scratchiness is part of the look, but I'd like it to be a little cleaner than it currently is. Like that little scratchiness there, that with the void, that's fine. That's like nothing crazy. But I want to catch like slightly bigger holes. Like these are probably okay up here, but I'd like to get that one and then this. Yeah, okay. Interesting way to do a face. I like it. I like this. This is an interesting nose shape. It's not one that you see as often in, like, I don't know, running around in mainly anime-ish areas. Like, it's one I see more in webcomics because they've got more Western inspiration a lot of the time, and, like, so they actually put emphasis on the nose, which a lot of anime styles tend not to do. But yeah, so it's kind of interesting. Let's see. Base, I guess. I'm just going to take what we've been using for this, which I think is this. Okay, yeah, one down. I'm still going to try to do this in, like, not just mimicking their style, of course. Let's see. Once again, amazing eye shape. Like that a lot. The funny thing I learned recently, and I won't go on this tangent too long because we are on a timer because ArtFight, but you can, with the right technique, you can kind of make an eye out of literally any shape. Like a believable, like some of them are going to be cartoony. Like obviously you take an oval, then you can make that into an eye. But even like a believable one, like if you can get the taper right, which I'm not quite doing. But like obviously, you know, believable eye. But you can take like way out there shapes too. Like I'm just going to do like a normal triangle. And like you can make this into something that is plausibly, and not like an Illuminati eye, but like you could totally use this on a character. I mean, you can definitely do Among Us eyes, but usually, usually that means you put it inside the eye. And then you've got your like anime eye around it. But I guess you could also technically do an Among Us eye. It probably wouldn't look good. I'll admit, I may have over-exaggerated the ability of this thing to make any shape into an eyeball, but we'll see. It'd be a weird choice, but you could do it. Hold on. Where'd my grabber tool go? There it is. Okay, and then I can move it up, copy it, and drag the copy over. I'm sure there's a way to flip this. Oh yeah, hold on. Yeah. Oops. Okay. They are very short. They're little jelly beans. I mean, looking at it like that's horrifying. But yeah, you can make a Moga size. You shouldn't. You definitely shouldn't, but you could. It's staring into my soul. I need to put this away. Yeah, see you in a bit. Thanks for dropping by. The artist who we attack with ArtFight does not need to know that that layer exists in this project. Okay. Let me look at these ears and see how much of this detail we can get, because we can't fit the whole ear in, unfortunately. There's just literally not enough space on the canvas, even having zoomed out a considerable amount. All right. Well, we can, like, try to capture a little of the shape at least. Let's see. I can start the line from off campus. That's nice. So, okay. Let's see what we're dealing with. I guess we can probably get a little more of the fabric drape. Too much zoom. And there's like the actual sleeve that's happening over here a little bit. Ah, no, they got baggy sleeve. Okay, that is fine by me. I like baggy sleeve. Easier to draw, amongst other things. Also more fun to draw somehow. Let's see. I'll have to get some of the greenery. Don't y'all let me forget the greenery that goes up here. Like that one. That'll be a note for me. Good luck finding that to erase later. Okay. I'm actually going to be right back. I have to use the restroom, something terrible. But I'll be back in just a second. Thank y'all for waiting. Sorry about that. Sorry. But we are back. Okay. I'm actually, real quick, because I kind of like this for the, like, preview shot. Even though it's grayscale, it just looks decent. So I'm going to export it. Oop. I don't know. I just like that one. Even if we don't use it on the ArtFight preview, maybe we'll check it in the YouTube thumbnail, you know? And I'm going to have to figure out how to post speed draws of, like, all of these ArtFight ones, aren't I? I need to get the hang of speed paints. What's on layer 2? Some things. Not bad things. But I just worry, like, the more detail I add to this, the more I'm like, it's kind of losing the style that I was aiming for. Here, let's add some foliage. Looks like they're going for, like, swampy fern type things. Especially with these little curly ones, those are pretty ferny. And the moss. I'm gonna look up, like, ferns. And swamp plants. I don't think ferns are really swamp plants, to be fair. Maybe they are. Oh, good. Okay, here's some fun options. Yeah. Okay. I may even, like, take the brush size down just a notch for this little section, because we're getting into more detail, and it's a place we actually want those details. I like their droopy, like, moss vines, too. I'm going to kind of mimic that style. Because I'll be honest, one of the things with ArtFight that's, like, part of why it's fun and useful is I get to really... It's... Way back when I started streaming, I used to talk about doing things called style studies, where you just really take a deep dive looking at what makes another artist's art tick. Either by doing fan art or by, like, just doing studies the way you'd do of, like, classical masters in an art school or something. Something I used to do a lot when I was first sketching in, like, pencil and paper sketchbooks. And it's a great way to learn techniques that you're not necessarily familiar with and just other ways of doing things. So long as you don't just, you know, plagiarize them one-to-one. Or you're doing fan art of their art, so you can, you know, kind of mimic it a little bit. Again, you don't want to go overkill. But like, it's definitely a good way to learn different techniques and styles. Okay, so first off, my favorite one of these is definitely, like, the curly over fern that's got, like, little doohickeys coming off of it. So we're gonna mimic that one. Let's see. Oh, that one, they even went with more of an S curve. Okay. And then I'm going to look to more just, like, ferns and other plant life. I may look up succulents, actually. Although I'm not sure that's... Well, let's check this individual's vibe. Swamps, ghosts, and monsters. Okay, I'm looking up swamp plants then, not succulents. Those are, like, desert plants. Let's see. But also, I like the fern leaves, so I'm going to use some fern leaves. Alright, this is actually probably a brush that could work well for those. Zoom. They're kind of just like a little taper with scraggliness. Whoops. We'll go with real big ones down here, because why not? You can play around with it a little bit, and they're not really that big in the grand scheme of the picture, although that does still take a lot of, like, detail, so I should be, like, careful and just add some, like, normal foliage to the silhouettes. Maybe not right under the fern, though. I think that some of that's gotten a little overkill. We could add, like, foliage layers so that we could do, like, a ton of detail on the plant life and then, like, end up not doing much of the face. That would be probably not the best for a character portrait, but kind of funny. Let's see. I'm just looking up swamp plants now. Oh, cattails. I hadn't thought about those. Some seaweed things. There's a whole variety here. Fun. That one's probably too long of just like a plain line. It's not going to end up looking good in the final thing. But it'll be good background for a couple of others. Probably not the cattail, though. Probably not a good choice. I need something with a lot of like little fine detail lines to help counteract it. And the level of detail in this section's like way too high for what it is. Not like wasted effort, but it's gonna draw, like, it's gonna be distracting. Yeah, I knew this one would be like too bold and dark. I'm gonna like trim it down a little bit in size. Which means, of course, that we're going to have to go back and extend these other ones. Be a little bit complicated to do. Okay, let's see. You can even make the cattail a little less over the top and bold. Be fun though. Yo, Jack, how are you doing? I'm out here just trying to get like final stuff done for ArtFight. Good to see ya. What have you been up to lately? And sorry I couldn't stay the whole time for your stream the other day. It looked like it was going to be a lot of fun. Oh yeah, no, we're going all in. This is a character by StarJuiceArt. StarJuiceArt, that's right. Kind of an interesting one. ArtFight's fun. It gets you drawing characters that are like outside of your normal stuff and comfort zone. Whoops, that's the wrong one entirely. And in this case, it's got me drawing a lot of ferns. But yeah, it's the last day, so we're kind of on crunch time at this point. Yeah, I'm going to go way too nuts on the plant details and just have that be intentional. Because it's fun. Let's see. Add some flowering life in here too, perhaps. But yeah, no, I've just been, I don't know, working along. We've done a ton of ArtFights this month. Some have turned out good, some have turned out okay, but you know, that's kind of the way of it. Trying to sneak this one in right under the wire, because it ends tomorrow at like noon-ish, but I don't know what time zone the noon is, so I don't want to risk it. Like, it could be any time. Oh, nice! Yeah, nice. Getting to just have a chill day and do art. Oh man, I need to do that. I'm bad about it though. When I get a chill day, my brain's just like, you should crash, and I'm like, no. Like I know job is tiring, but like use chill day for fun thing, not for forgetting. Ah well, it'll get better with practice. That one's a little too bold. Both these flowers are a little too big, probably. I'm not getting rid of this one though. I'm just gonna shrink it down. Looks kind of like a lapel pin, but stuck way out on the side. Yeah, exactly. It's not just like not just make it to the end of the workday. Actually enjoy the day. Let's see. We can have some like smaller ones that are just like kind of fluff flowers in here too. Give it a little character. But yeah, we got like less than 2 hours, and I gotta finish this one, so I don't want to take an eternity. Let's see. Would be a good one. I've got just like a diagram of like western wetland plants. It's not what I was expecting to be doing today. But it's fun. Ooh, lily pads. Okay, I'm going to do a lily pad on the other shoulder. I think that'd actually be a fun detail to have. Well, just, you know, a little texture in there. But I'm gonna when we're doing the final thing, I'm gonna make the contrast on that not super high so that we get the focal point on, you know, the actual character. Thanks. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm trying a different technique of messing with silhouettes and stuff first to really get detail, because it's a much faster and looser way to draw than I usually do. I'm usually like trying to be very technical and precise with all my stuff, so it's been fun to mix it up. Okay, I'm gonna actually grab the lighter color for this one. And maybe even a larger brush, just like really force it to be kind of casual. Okay, and then we can go back to our darker one for the actual flower on it. Oop, too much zoom. A slightly smaller brush on this bit. Yeah. Some of these are going to have to cross over the center too. Oh yeah, I'm much too detail oriented for my own good, as I think most artists and art folks tend to be. You know, in your mind, the details are the defining parts. It's like, oh, this is the fun. This is what makes the character. But like, it's not always. Not always helpful to do them right away either. Let's see. Trying to think about what we've been talking about recently, but it's been a fairly chill stream. Pleasantly low-key. Kind of a nice, calm way to wrap up the event. Oh yeah, it's a super hard habit to break. And like I'll be doing fine at the first half of a drawing, and then I'll find I've like stumbled into a rabbit hole at some point. I'm just like, ah, rats. But you know, that's the way of it. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Oh, well, we can like work with that. Maybe like over here. Yeah. A little more like this. Yeah. I guess I can silhouette it, and then we'll add the detail lines in a minute. Just a hair lighter. Let's see. Okay, and then I may add some more of those mossy vines. I love one of the fun things about ArtFight is you get to see what other people's like are doing with their styles. I know I talked about this a little bit earlier, But like you can the way they did these like drooping moss vines, I just love. And so I definitely want to try to sort of replicate it on this, but then it's something I want to think about in the future too. That's just super cool looking. See, I don't want to go too far on this one though, because we don't want to end up with like excessive symmetry from the other side. Let's see. Yeah, this is turning out fun. I had a middle like tier of just like scrub brush going on in here too. Like not any actual like form, but just to give it a little bit of texture. Make that kind of pop a little bit more. Yeah, I'm going all in on the detail, but that's sort of the point on this one is I want all the detail on the shoulders and then like the face itself. And then the rest can be like softer, simpler silhouette. Get some interesting eye draw. Let's see. Lily pad's sort of the focal point on this side, so I don't want anything too bold next to it. We could add another one of those. The character kind of has one that shows up a lot are these little like fern curls they've got on them each side and on the head itself. So I may add another one of those because that seems to be more of a repeating pattern with them. And we can have it contrast a little bit with this one. Let's see what we're doing here. Then a little bit. Thanks. Yeah, I need to catch one of your art streams too. It's been a long time since I've seen one of those. Unfortunately, well, I went like all in on ArtFight, and so that has murdered my free time. But also, I'm bad about getting. Well, I think we all are. It's easy to get caught up and swept up in like work and routine and everything, and you're just like, oh wait, crud, I've not been doing things. So, trying to get better about that. But yeah, it was good to see you. Let's see. Oh, that's a nice one. See, kind of layered petal effect going on here. Then let's adding a little bit of interior texture on this one. That's what makes this one fun. Let's try to match that a little more. Taper it back in just a hair. As we get toward the bottom. And then a brighter accent. I want to get the brighter tones over here so we got a little symmetry. Yeah, thanks! It's hard to believe I've been doing this for over a year now. Just been a fun way to practice art and occasionally get to chat with people. I mean, that's not a bad way to spend evenings. And fill these in a little bit, we can get the texture better otherwise. Oh, hey, Pomato, how are you doing? What's your question? Fire away. Probably too detailed on that one. That's fine though. Let's see. I mean, if we're following English grammar, technically you can, but you shouldn't. I mean, I know it tastes like mostly salty, but like it's still not the best idea. That's definitely not food safe. You should probably listen to Galactic. No, don't. You may be physically capable of it, but don't do that, please. For your own sake. Sorry. You can eat a normal hamburger. Not one made of Play-Doh, though. It is funny how Play-Doh had all those kits that would make, like, food-looking things back in the day. Like, in hindsight, that was probably not a good idea. They'd have little ones where you could, like, cut French fries out of your Play-Doh. It's like, maybe not a thing to teach the children. I mean, once it cools off, sure. Not while it's still boiling, though. Bad news about the durability of the human body. It doesn't really fare well with drinking boiling water. Okay. We've gone... Let's see. One more place where we want to get some of these details. I like these little head ones, too. And we can't leave those out. We won't have the underlying grass and such this time. We really will just have, like, the silhouettes of these. Interesting. Okay. That was the wrong tool entirely. There we go. I told you not to drink the boiling water until it cooled off, mate. Don't know what to tell you. You're out here sounding like the Onion Knight from Dark Souls. Let's see. Let's add a little bit in here, not anything too much, just a little bit of leaf detailing. I'm going to be careful that these don't get overly large. I think I'm already aiming bigger than I intended to with that one, so we may need to bring it down a notch. A-okay. One of the joys of digital art is that you can just resize things. When I'm out in the park drawing in a sketchbook, I'm always like, oh, this is easy enough, I'll just move it down the page a little. Oh. Every time. So I do like just like getting out and about with a sketchbook and like doing every day, just out there sketching. Digital art is fun, but it's kind of the medium I'm the worst at. Let's see. Still, it's kind of hard. It's a little harder to stream pencil and paper. So I'm more than happy to do this to just, you know, be able to actually share the art with all y'all guys and do this in the process and see the process and everything. Sorry, my brain was thinking about moss, and like I'm not entirely sure that sentence came out all the way. It's oh, we lost a little of the S curve when we added these details. Let's add that back. Yeah, one thing that's funny, and like not in a bad way, just an interesting thing, is how different the energy is on different like art streamers' channels. Like some of them are so like calm and quiet and relaxed, and some of them are so like hyper energetic, like over the top intense, super engaged, and I love them both. They're all such fun. They're all so fun, but it's really fascinating how different artists thrive with different like moods going on in their space. I'm gonna call this foliage. I think that's an apt description. Okay. Now, the last thing I really want to work on is the face itself. Actually, I'm gonna do one little line weight. Actually, I can't do line weight tweaks because I'm not using vector layers today. Ah, so we'll just have to do this manually then. That's fine. That's easy enough to do. We'll just redo that line. Oh, that's on the foliage layer too. Well, that's convenient. Oh, for sure. Yeah. There's definitely like also a sweet spot of tiredness where you're just like super like enthusiastic about things. Or at least I know I get that way. And so my stream energy definitely different from day to day. And like, man, work really defines what you got left at the end of the day. But it's nice being able to look forward to having a calm stream at the end. Knowing that, you know, even if today ended up being garbo at work, which usually it's not, and I'm fortunate enough that I enjoy my job for the most part, but sometimes it's still tiring. And nice to be able to just relax. That's on the wrong layer, super entirely. Let's see. Okay, now that that ear's a little less overdramatic, we can add some detail to it later, of course, to make it pop, but that's a little different from it stealing the scene, even from all that hyper-detailed foliage. Let's see. No, I expressly said to wait until it had cooled off. Did Tomato listen to me? No. But we tried. Speaking of, how's your ArtFight sprint doing? I know you had at least one more you were trying to get done today. Yes, thank heavens. We have a witness to testify. That's impressive. I am blown away by how much you've managed to do this ArtFight. It's so cool. It's so fun seeing the different paces that everyone works at. Like, there's some people who I see out there who they get one done, they spend their time, they do like one really, really in-depth drawing, and then that's it. That's their thing for ArtFight. And then on the flip side, we've got folks who can just be so consistent with it and have one out every day and still have them look good. Like, I could do one every day, but they would not look good. Yeah, that's fair. You always got to double check where Pomato's wandering off to. Okay, let's see. Need to think through this face shape and where the features need to land. Eye needs to be about here. Okay, yeah, that was part of the issue. The eyebrow was way too low down. Okay. Alright, let's try face again. I'm gonna go for like a softer, rounder eyebrow. Sharp one's cool, but it's not quite fitting with the soft roundness of the rest of the style that I've been doing. Oh, thanks. Yeah, you have a good one. Thanks for dropping in. Okay, let's see. Got the eyes. I actually want to I want to make the eyes a little less dark than this sort of void touch deal they've got going there. Not a lot, but I want to make sure this really pops as like, by comparison, a deeper darkness than they've been dealing with, just naturally with their eyes. And we can even go like a little lighter for this bottom part. And not a ton lighter, just a little bit. I kind of like this, like, not entirely focusing on the conversation look they've got going. It makes sense for like a swampy deity. The slight tilt's what does it. Okay, now I just need to work on slightly stronger chin. Slightly sharper cheek for this one. And I'm sure we'll keep tweaking this, but facial features. Always the hardest part. Thanks, Scopic. It's coming together bit by bit. I've ended up putting a lot more detail on sort of like the swampy thing they've got going on, because I think technically this character from StarJuiceArt is of the in-between, a focus on swamps, ghosts, and monsters. So it's kind of an interesting. Oh, cool! They've actually illustrated the other eye. I think we've got it covered with hair still. I didn't get too creative with the pose on this one. I figured 2 hours start to finish. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to really go nuts with it. Okay. Leave it like that for now. What am I doing attempting to do that? Just like make it bigger and then do one clean line. Don't do this scratch in thing. Scratch never ends up working. Tempting though it may be. Okay, there we go. Oops, that's the wrong color. A little bit more line cleanup. Let's see. Like I was saying at the start of stream, face shape, always stinking my nemesis. I never seem to get quite the grip on it. Yeah, no, I know. I definitely lean into the exhaustion a little bit with the under eye shading. I probably can chill on that a little bit. You can remove a couple of these stripes. Perhaps I'm just channeling how I'm feeling. Yeah, no, I didn't hate the. I agree. It was kind of a decent look. I just want to not make it quite so harsh. And they did the whole vertical stripes on the nose thing, which is a fun look and not a bad way to do face shading either. So I may pull that in. Okay. Oops, that was the wrong button. So they had the other eye. We may catch just the tiniest glimpse of it. Not anything super crazy, though. I just want to make sure the face is actually balanced the way that it ought to be. And we'll get a little more of the really dark kind of bubbling its way around. Okay. Want to make sure it's clear what's on top. I'm playing fast and loose with layers on this one. I'm not. Again, we're aiming for loosey-goosey, having fun with it drawings. So that's what I'm going for. Okay. So I'm fairly content with leaving. Oh, that's why. Okay, I'm being dumb. One thing that I want to change real quick for sure, before we get into actual colors, is eyes should be eye color. Nope. As soon as I started doing that, I was like, wait a second, this is not a closed shape. Let's try that again. Oops. I clean up on these edges just a tiny bit. There we go. Although, actually, I am going to, because of what we're going to do next, I'm still going to keep it on the slightly muted color palette that we've been doing. And I am going to clean it up so that this is still on top. Let's see. And yeah, I'll patch the little dot in it. Oop, there we go. Okay, now is the fun part. Well, all of it's the fun part. Now is another fun part. Because I'm just going to call this, I don't know, flats, I guess? It's not really the right word for it, but yeah, whatever. And then this layer is going to be our actual colors. And we'll have to play around with it a little bit, but I'm actually going to set it to a color layer. Because we got our values all nice and worked out already. So, let's add a little bit to this. First off, I want to get the skin tone. You see, yeah, I figured it ended up looking too sallow on that uber dark background. I think we're going to have to raise the skin tone color up just a few shades. So it was already this one. We can bump it up 1, and then we may even bump it up 2. Oh, right, that was that on the other layer. That's fine, that's an easy fix. This is the part where I regret being kind of lazy with the layers. But whatever, it's easy enough for our quick little drawing here. Okay, now looking at this with the color layer on it, and let's try this sort of skin tone again. Doing something a little less sallow, perhaps. Still not as bright as the original. We'll probably add a little bit to make that pop, but that's okay. It's at least a starting point. Actually, rather than just using a fill tool in this one, I'm going to go ahead and color this over our, not the eye, but these like detail lines on the face. That way they've still got the same kind of skin tone. Just to fill down here, because we don't want to color these spots yet. And we'll see if this comes together or not. I'm just going to have to clean this one up on the outside. It's easier to use the erase tool to clean up the outer edge than it is to do the inner one, so yeah, that's what we're doing. It's stolen a few of the detail lines, because unfortunately that secondary skin tone we used was actually the same as the hair silhouette line that we had going. That's undercutting it just a little bit, but that's okay. We can just work with it. This fill will not play nice with that, yep. Let's see. Hold on just a second. Okay, there we go. So I realized that Spotify had finished what it was playing and had jumped onto another playlist of not so copyright-free music. Which, as much as I'd love to listen to that, I do upload these to YouTube, so... alas. One of these days I'll get that sorted out. I'll get like multiple audio inputs, but then I'd also have to edit music over the YouTube videos, and I am still one person, and I don't have 72 hours in a day, so we'll get there, maybe. Not the top priority. And then we can go back in and fill this one up a little bit, because I got a tad overzealous there. And I'm going to take a big brush and do the same for the ears. I'll use a much bigger brush for the other side. Yep, there we go. Boom, easy as pie. Now, I may actually leave the hair mostly as it is. I know it's not quite as white in the original, but I've found myself this ArtFight leaning towards more muted colors, and I've been quite enjoying the results. So I may leave that for the most part. Now, of the colors layer, I may make just the plain, like, this is just going to be a clipping layer, so whatever. Because some of these I want to actually tweak the original grays that we were using. No, not that. Just to be a little bit lighter, because we were working with kind of a darker color palette. And because we haven't done layers or vector lines or anything that would make it super clean to update this, we're just going to do it the manual way, which is still really not bad. Keeps it a little lighter. What I am going to do with the... Actually, no, this needs to be this layer too. Yeah, that'll do. And I'll do one more. And I'm going to actually go for any of the non-moss lines that are actually just shirt wrinkles. I'm also going to mute so that it's more consistent with the being the fabric. Easy enough to do. Then I'll go in and manually do a few cleanups. Yep, one bit at a time. That's always how I do it. As much as I'm like, oh yes, this will be a calm and relaxing and not technical stream, it's in my heart. This is just how I roll. We'll get a little cleanup there. I know there's a little down here we need to, yeah. I'm okay with that, having a little texture. And then I actually want to do the same deal in here. There we go. Again, it doesn't get rid of those, it just mutes them a little bit. Oops, we almost missed a section up here. There we go. Leave it in there. Just bringing the contrast down, making it chill a little bit. Okay, now we can go back to the colors layer and have some fun with this. Although I'm probably not going to get as fancy with the gradients as they did. These are nice though. But let's see what happens when we... Yeah, see, that one's a little too bold. Let's go for one of these darker, bluer ones, and then put it on the color layer and see where that gets us. Yeah, we may have to use the gradient, or at least a little bit of contrast. Mute this just a hair. I'm curious though, actually, if I just go over this whole section rather than the fill tool, how well does that work? Because that might not be too bad. We'll add color for some of the flowers, obviously, but... our sort of baseline in here. Just to sort of see where it gets us. Oops, I guess the colors layer probably ought to clip, shouldn't it? That'd make this a lot easier. Yeah. Okay. I knew when we made this so bold and so detailed and an area of high color high value contrast that we were going to end up with a pretty bold section. So we'll have to see how it looks in the final thing. I do think getting it all in green definitely helped there. But yeah, I'll use the fill tool just to get these bottom edges a little bit. Like in the lily pad is kind of an accent there. That's been fun. And then I'll brush the rest in, just so that we get it all in here, and then we can add just a few spots of color to make it pop. And as much as this is sort of the focal piece of this one, I don't want to completely drown the figure in all of this lovely greenery. There we go. We gotta be actually careful around this edge, which I failed to do, so we'll have to go clean it up, but that's fine. Still better than back when I was painting like Warhammer figures. Used to be super into those. And I would always like get a tiny bit of paint too far over one edge, and then so I'd have to switch to the other paint color to fix it, and then I'd get too much paint over the other edge, and then I'd switch back. I've gotten better about, well, paint control, but also like just letting it be and not reversing back and forth 6 times in a row. Because I realized I was spending like 4 hours just painting per figurine, and I was like, okay, my army needs like a couple dozen figures. I'm not sure this is gonna work. Right, wrong. Whoa, okay. Did not mean to pull that all the way out. Actually, I'd like that here if it's all the same. Well, that's the opposite of what I've done before, but it's not bad. We'll leave it for now. Always down to mix up my UI a little bit. But what I actually want to... That's going to mess with some muscle memory, though. Want to do is... Yeah, okay, so the eye is just as green. Awesome. We'll use the same green from our colors layer. Except for the fact that I've accidentally color picked it away like 6 times. And... yeah. Let's get that in there. A little bit of green. Actually, I kind of... Hold on, let me use the skin tone just over top of this like little bottom of the eye detail too. Doesn't do much because that one's so dark already, but it does just a little bit. Okay. See, we're getting there. I want to add... Okay, let's see. We may add a little... We may do some shadows and just a little bit of fun with that, but I'm going to add the greenery colors first. Because that's the part that really matters, and then the shadows are kind of like a fun little bonus, and so I don't want to run out of time doing bonus stuff. As you can see, they've got a lot of different colors going on in here. Let's see, these are pretty high value. We'll use them somewhat sparingly, yeah, because that's going to be like maybe a little too much. So I'm going to probably use like considerably more muted versions of some of these. Just because we went for like some of this inner foliage, we went with so much detail on it. The detail is going to draw the eye, and so I don't want to sort of overdo it by also having like super bold colors. Let's see, we'll go ahead and get this one with this. Leave the others green. And then, actually, yeah, we can use the same pink and kind of, I don't know that Phil's going to play nice with that, yeah, but we can get some of the inner edges. We'll see if giving these form ends up making them better or, like, worse. Sometimes it's better to let them be a little more flexible so that they can fit whatever's needed. Yeah, I was afraid the white would just turn something. Admittedly, I wasn't expecting this soothing warm gray, which still isn't the best for a flower, but you know. this one, it's more of like a buttercup yellow. We can work with that. Because with these darker kind of saturated colors underneath it, it's going to end up being pretty bold. I'm going to grab actually like a slightly darker green, or yeah, and just use it for these leaves. Right. If I want this to be darker with the way we're doing it, I actually need to like shift it horizontally too. Oh, cool. Just grayer. I'm going to redo these two gray ones. That's not what we want. There we go. There we go. We'll really lean into it. Let's go all the way on that. Just a hint more vibrant than the stuff around it. Not anything crazy. We'll grab some of the blues. And then once we got our sort of color palette worked out, we can repeat it on the other side and it'll be easy because we already know what we're using. Hold on, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna go in and... Oops, I don't want to lose that hot pink center on it. I think that actually looks pretty nice on this one. These two work well together, so... Wrap them up. Okay, we've got less than 30 minutes left. We are really in the crunch time now. Let's see. We'll do another one of these that's more like the buttercup. I'm going to give it something slightly different. We'll give it a little bit of a blue edge. Not that much. We want to stick somewhat within our color palette here. That way we've got a little visual consistency. Just a little. Yeah. Even try the blue in the middle, see how that looks. That's too much when it's in the middle. I'm going to do a few more like this one where we get kind of the purpley tone for most of it. And then we nab the pinkish one for the center. Let's see. Go for one of the like kind of grayish whiter ones just for like a strand up here. That's one I'd have to do on the whatever layer though. If I want the saturation not to not get terrible like that. I think some of these white is probably well, actually no, that kind of works. Now one of these lower ones, a little bit of the detail on that one. Just some of these, because it's not quite white. It's still like a slightly off. It just gives a little bit of pop for a few places. That could use it. And apparently the entire thing when I misclick by a millimeter. There we go. It makes these highlights really pop. I don't want that one to pop though. Okay. The one thing I'm feeling is that we need just a tiny bit of color up in these higher sections too. So I may grab one of these and make it into a slightly brighter plant than it already is. Just so that it doesn't look like there's a hard edge to the light. You can also clip the whatever layer so we don't have to draw entirely within the lines and it'll still work. And that'll give me an excuse to use a variant of the green. We're going to take our normal green. We're going to, let's see, desaturate it a little bit, darken it just a little bit, and we'll use that for kind of like give us a little bit of a depth feel. I'm not going to go crazy on it, but just in case we don't get to the shading layer in time, this will give us just that little extra push to show that there's kind of not just all in one flat plane. Keep going. Sorry, this is the part where I'm bad about just like stopping talking because it's almost like meditation at this point. You're just like, ah, yes. Look at the pretty drawing, fitting around the lines. All nice and neat-ish. Okay, there we go. One other thing I may do with that is just fill that leaf. There we go. I fill like one or two of these with this darker one too. We get, whoops. Oh, that's kind of a nice mossy tone. Maybe I do that for like the hanging ones too. Oh, right, okay. That's gonna be a challenge. Well, that's easy enough to fix. I just have to cut off the edges, and then the fill tool will be our friend again. Ooh. Zoop. And there. Maybe because they're toward the camera, they ought to be brighter instead of darker. I don't know. I feel like this is going to make them like too separate, but we'll see. I think they were better dark. I guess we could do like one darker and one the normal tone. That way we're still getting the same depth effect. Wrong tool. Right. I guess that's all on the whatever layer, isn't it? Oh boy. May have done too much on that layer. That's fine. Still easy enough to clean up, and because we're just moving quick, we're just gonna have some fun with the fill tool. And then, I guess, refilling with the darkness for this back one, but with different boundaries. Okay. Yeah, okay, that adds some good depth. Now for a little bit of a repeat. Let's grab our nice sort of pinky purple tones. I want to use that for a lot of these. Let's see. Don't worry, we'll make sure this pops. At this point for the interior, I may as well just, yeah, there we go. Then we'll use the buttercup yellow on just a few of these spots. Not that much. Save those lighter areas, and then I'm gonna grab the pink from over here. We'll use that for like maybe the midtones? Oh, it's because I'm on the whatever layer. Okay, yeah, no, this is one where I actually want to be doing it on the colors layer. Okay, that'll be better. So the difference between those, for the record, in case anyone's wondering, is that the colors layer will always maintain the value, which is essentially the white to black grayness, or that scale. It'll always maintain the value. It'll just sort of make it more purple, but still at that value. Whereas the whatever layer is just going to put whatever the layer my paint actually looks like is on it. So, what that ends up meaning is that if I want to make sure that I'm maintaining exactly the look that my brush has, I want to use the whatever layer. If I want to make sure that I'm maintaining whatever the original... It's in both layers, isn't it? No? Okay. Oh, right, because the greens are on this layer. Okay. Fixed. There we go. But yeah, so that one will be, if I want exactly the buttercup yellow without any variance, then I'll use that one. If I want this more golden, where it's maintaining the brightness and darkness, then I'll use the colors layer. This one I actually want the whatever layer to make it pop a little more. We'll go back on the brush for some of those small ones. That one actually ought to be the lilac. There we go. Grab the pink for these. Okay. I grabbed the... Pretty sure we used the pink for that. Okay. Yeah, we're getting towards the end of stream. We got 20 minutes left, and I can tell that my brain is starting to slow down just a little bit. Probably should have actually, you know, gotten a halfway decent amount of sleep the other day. Oh well. Okay, so that one's lovely and fairly bold. This is another one where I'm going to want to use that buttercupish yellow, and it's not quite a buttercup yellow the more I look at it. I'm going to use it for the interior and for like the petals of this particular plant, but not for the actual lily pads themselves. Yeah, who needs sleep? It's you know, it's for the week. You know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But nah. Yeah, I'll get rest, but like we're on the last day of ArtFight, and I was excited and trying to get stuff done on time, so I may have pushed it a little bit. Let's see, and I'm actually going to grab our darker green over here. Or actually, no, I'm going to grab our pale white on this one and use that for these accents. Except not in the gray, I'm going to use it in the whatever tier. We're getting this kind of like really nice soft green in here that'll pop. It's been fun. It's been a fun challenge, and I appreciate that it's not as like objective of a commitment as like some of the daily drawing Sword Timber ones or things like that. Those ones, it feels like it's much easier to just fail at. ArtFight's sort of like, you know, do whatever you're comfortable with. If you want to do attacks, do attacks. If you want to just wait and see if you do any defenses, then you can do that too. If you want to just chat with people, no shame in it. Why it's such a fun event. Let's see. So as with everything on the internet, I'd still be wary of giving them money at this point. Apparently they just had a bit of an issue with one of the admins getting up to some not the best behavior in managing the donation section. So, you know, hold off on that part, but enjoy the event. Like, that's what matters. The event's a lot of fun. Let's see. Around the edges. So streams lazy and quick art techniques. Let's go. Okay, grab a few more of these slightly lighter and slightly darker ones. This is one that I definitely want on the whatever layer. Sort of have a hint of a plant over there. And just a few little spots. Make it pop. And finally, on the whatever layer also, let's get some of this darker green going. And add just a little bit of depth to this whole thing. So honestly, on this side, I'm kind of inclined to just both of these plants to the background. Let's see. Clean it up a little bit there. The depth actually plays nice. And then yeah, and we'll add a little splash of color to a few spots. And there. I'm actually okay with this one just being green. Let's see. We got over here. Okay, yeah, let me grab a little bit of this bright one. We'll go to the whatever. I'll add just a little bit to whatever this plant is. So it's got fewer flowers on this side. I want to make sure that they pop just the right amount. And then we got to get the ones on the head. Which, admittedly, these ones are mostly just in the like various shades of light and dark greens. So I may actually go ahead and grab the dark green just to have it on hand. We'll go over to this, so we'll keep it in our palette. Trying to think. Okay, yeah, there's one that I want to actually catch this kind of purple into, and it's just these like squiggles over here. They do well with a kind of a quiet muted color. And then we could maybe grab a little bit of the pink for one of those highlights. And then it'll just do green shades up here. Because at this point we're going to be rivaling the face for like attention, and we don't necessarily want to do that. Okay, so we'll go to whatever layer. We'll send some of these to the background. These grasses can go back there too, mayhaps, or perhaps instead some of this stuff. That like a little bit of shape, we can just sort of play with it there a little bit. Some patches getting darker in here, that'll be fine. And then I'll send these ones to the background too. The question is, do I send that big focal one to the back? But I don't think so. Maybe just a little bit of the base. We'll get like hint of shading, because I don't think we're going to get time to do full shading at this point. Ode to shading, or Shadow LaCroix. Okay, let's see. Well, they really do have kind of a grayscale going on with the actual outfit, so I can kind of leave that as is, but I'm realizing what I want to do is make sure we get the skin tone over the like actual these lines. It's clear that they're, you know, more natural. The black's still popping pretty well there. Okay. Let's see. Well, it's an interesting level of detail, and it's got some unusual focal points, but I think this one's been a pretty fun one, and not bad for the time constraints that we've been under for this one. I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, I guess I need to get the signature and the year on it. Always got to make sure I do that. Let's see. We can, like, try to fit it in over here a little bit. Something that won't be too distracting. Let's see. Oh, dude, no worries. Like, y'all ain't obligated to chat. Certainly, lurking is a-okay. Oh, it's gonna go off. That's fine. I've lurked in far more streams than I've chatted. Like, you know, that's kind of how it goes. Okay, still need to work on that a little bit, but at least that's not too obtrusive. It still gets the year and all that. Whew. Oh, cool. Thanks. Yeah, I need to get a little better at actually doing it, but you know, it's there. All right, we've got a tiny bit of time. What I may do in that bonus time is not break that, but I may add just the tiniest bit of shadow to the ears. Grab this color, volume value down to 90, and then let's go slightly cooler the shadow. I think that'll be okay. Big brush. Whoops, meant to make this color layer too. Not a color layer. Not multiply. Whatever, this will do. That sure ain't looking like shadow. Can really do a color layer on top of a already value tweaked layer, but I don't want to mess with that today. We've only got a few minutes left. So perhaps we just... perhaps we just don't... We just use a normal layer. We take this, we'll just have to add the darkness ourselves. And also the slight color change. Okay. Not really getting the color change difference that I expected it to. Maybe because it's fairly faint. Alright, we can do that. Yeah, we may not mess with the shadows on this too much. I'll use the gradient tool at some point, but today is not that day. We could end this with a high energy super sprint to try to get that in, but I don't think that's a good idea in the name of having halfway decent streams for the rest of the week instead of me sleeping through them. So I may wrap it here, or I may just actually, you know what we could do is we could just like, okay, hold on, what is up with this layer? Oh, right, because these aren't the actual colors. What I need to do is go mess around with the value layer. Okay, that's easy enough. What we'll grab is, if we didn't have the colors, let's grab that, put the colors back. We can try that one, which actually isn't too bad for the gradient, so I may do that as is. Go for a slightly more scribbly, like continuous one here, but I still want the very faint lines. Just so that we're getting a little bit of that sense of shadow. And of the actual gradient that exists on these ears. Just slightly bolder lines on the under one. Too bold on that one. I mean, it's from Passpartout, so I guess in a way it kind of is, because you can run out of money in that game, although it's difficult. You can go with a slightly less bold. Oh, crud. I don't want to open this. I hit a button on my menu bar. No, it takes forever to open. Go away. Okay. Dagnabbit. Every time. I ought to remove the hotkey on that music maker. It was an interesting thing I got from a Humble Bundle. And it's something I want to mess with more later, but that's definitely not an ArtFight streamy thing. Nope, okay. Just hints of shadow. Won't mess with it too much. Okay. Suppose that will do much of anything. Yep. Okay, then I think that's going to be it for... I still don't know if it's Jin or Gin, unfortunately. I need to actually ask StarJuice when I submit it how to pronounce it. But we will get it submitted. I'll submit it off stream, and then I'll make sure that we link to the final thing. Again, the person we're doing this for, we've got the target command in chat. You can go check them out on Twitch or on ArtFight. They're super cool. Had a lot of fun visiting their stream, which is why we're even trying to sneak this attack in at the last minute. And with that, I think we're probably going to wrap for tonight. Whoops, where'd everything go? Good enough. Okay. Beyond weird technical difficulties of me being tired and accidentally minimizing everything. Oh, what? You're gonna see secrets on my desktop? Oh no, it's a desktop with an Elden Ring screenshot. Thanks, Jack. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap. I'm gonna try to put together. In addition, we'll do this attack and get it sent off, and then I'm gonna do like an ArtFight wrap up post with all the different drawings in it at some point. But thank y'all for sticking around. It's been fun. Let's see. Right, it's the last day, so they've hidden all the scores until the last. When 15 hours, they'll announce the final results. Because it gets a little intense sometimes. But it's been fun. We've had a lot of good attacks. We've been getting better at art. Also, sometimes worse at art. But yeah, that's how it goes. Generally, we're on an upward trend, and that's what matters. So let's see. I'll go ahead and wrap it up for the YouTube viewers here, but then let's see if we can find someone to raid. So see y'all YouTube folks, hope you're having a good one, and we'll see y'all next time.